City boy, city boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And you know we gotta go ahead and do a Friday night Smackdown review. And man, oh man, oh man, this show was garbage, boring, trash. This show, what can I say about this? We had Jeff Cobb on this show. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. All right. And that'll tell you the kind of night that we had on WWE. Throughout the entirety of tonight's show, I had one question.
Why?
That is a question that I asked multiple times throughout the night. All right, I asked it in the beginning of the show, in the middle of the show, and at the end of the damn show. Why? All throughout the show, there is nothing in this show makes sense. And even if it does make some kind of sense, it's something that you just could not possibly care about, man. It's just repeat after repeat, man. It's the same shit every single week. Rematch after rematch. Fucking boring ass promo after boring ass promo. It's like missionary. Every single night, it just gets boring. It's over and over again. It's just bad, man. That's just where we're at right now, bro. We're at the point in WWE history where the company does not care anymore. Somebody said in the comments of one of my last videos that WWE is basically just a big marketing firm. And how can I disagree? How can literally anybody disagree? All they do is shovel shit in your face, and then in betwixt shoveling the shit in your face, they shove ads in your face. There was a commercial for every single match that happened tonight. Every match, every promo, everything that happened tonight. There was a commercial before the match, a commercial during the match, a commercial after the match, and then it would just repeat over and over and over again. We got like 5 commercials per fucking 30 minutes, man. We got like 3 commercials within the first 30 minutes of the show. It's just getting worse and worse each week, man. This is just getting bad, man. I don't understand how Triple H can dig himself out of this hole with his fucking nose shoved so far up his ass. All right, we're going to go ahead, jump into this review, and we're going to talk about it as we go along, as we usually do. So go ahead, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below what y'all thought of the show, and let's jump right on into it. All right, so first we start off with a little recap of Backlash, because that is the the PLE that just happened. Right, so we start off with the recap of Backlash, everything that happened, the whole little Jeff Cobb situation. Jeff Cobb situation, man. You know, the whole thing. We show the whole little recap of Backlash. And we start off the show. Solo Sikoa's music hits. We taking it all. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? It goes ahead and it plays. And then we get Solo Sikoa walking down to the ring with Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb. All right. Now, on the night of Backlash, all right, when Jeff Cobb popped out of the barricade, popped out from behind the barricade, showed his face, all right, they said his name was Jeff Cobb. That's what they said. Jefferson Cobb is his name. All right, that's what you said. That's what his mama named him. All right, that's what you said, and that's what I'm gonna call him. All right, I don't care what you try to get over it. Because I was genuinely confused when Solo Sikoa got on the mic and said, "Look, man, we gotta thank JC for helping keep the title in the family." I said, "Who the fuck is JC?" Are they calling Jeff Cobb JC right now? Are they embarrassed of the Jeff Cobb name? Is Jefferson Cobb, is he embarrassed of his name? Did WWE get roasted too hard this past week that they decided they were going to change Jeff Cobb's name to JC? And how, explain to me, how is JC better than Jeff Cobb? Jeff Cobb is at least hilarious. JC is just forgettable. But Solo, he's on the mic and he's basically, putting himself over, saying that, it's his leadership and, his thoughts, his ideas that got Jacob the Intercontinental Championship, and, that he's the reason why Jacob kept his his U.S. Championship. All right. And he gets ready. He tries to steal Jacob's little shtick, the whole yada mean, all gas, no brakes, that whole thing. He tries to steal his shtick. And while he's in the middle of trying to steal his shtick, Jacob snatches the microphone from Solo and he says, "Hey man, I told you, period, point blank, I was going to do this with you or without you. I was going to take this title home with you or without you." And Jacob, he's just over like Rover. The crowd is really behind him. Like he's pretty much already a babyface at this point. There's no more heel heat. Bro is a babyface at this point. But he's saying that he was going to do it with or without Solo, and that's just what it was. He didn't need Jacob, or he didn't need Jefferson, and he didn't need Solo there. All right. And Jacob and Solo, they're just on the mic and they're really going at each other, man. They're not necessarily going at each other, but you can tell that the tension is really building and is rising. All right. I'm gonna be really honest with you, man. I don't care, man. I don't care. This whole bloodline thing is way too far drawn out. This shit needs to die yesterday. And we're still here, all right, in the year of our great Lord, 2025, all right, where we're talking about the bloodline storyline continuing on in this bootlegged offshoot, all right? But whatever. The promo kind of ends with Solo asking Jacob to do the thing that he used to do with the whole "I love you, Solo," that whole thing that Jacob used to do. And he was like, "Go ahead, what you used to say to it, what you used to say, how you used to say it." And then Jacob's like, "I used to say I love you, Solo." And Solo's like, nah, that's not how you said it. You used to say it with all your heart, all your might. Go ahead, say how you said it. Go ahead, Jacob. Smacks him in the arm. Jacob, who do you love, Jacob? Who do you love? That's word for word, bar for bar. All right, Solo Sikoa, 2K25. Who do you love? We're asking. Oh, my goodness. My emotions, bro. My emotions. Feelings. And, oh, man, that's all we get on these shows these days, man. But whatever, all right? Out of nowhere, we get LA Knight's theme song. It hits. All right, we're waiting on LA Knight to come out. LA Knight attacks from behind. All right, gets Jeff Cobb from behind. No Diddy, and then he runs off like LA Knight would run off after attacking. Like LA Knight is the kind of guy he would run up and he would just attack 3 people. Like that's just what he would do. If he gets beat down, that's what he would do. He would take the beat down. But he's going out there and he's going to, he's going to take his shot. But right now they have LA Knight running away like a scared bitch. So there was that. That was the end of that segment, and we move the fuck on. All right, we get Michin and B-Fab backstage talking about a bunch of bullshit, talking about how Michin is supposed to qualify. It's gonna qualify. That's hard to even get out. Gonna qualify for the Money in the Bank. That's not gonna happen. But whatever. She's talking about that. They said that the briefcase is gonna look good with the women's tag titles. I guess they're going for that. I don't know what this tag team is. They never came up with a name. They just got together one day and then we just weren't supposed to ask any questions about it. They just like each other now. So it is what it is. The Secret Harvest interrupts. All right. They come through. Chelsea Green is talking shit. Then Alexa Bliss pops up. So this is the match that we're about to get. All right. But one thing you got to keep in mind is that Secret Hervis was banned from ringside, all right, at this moment, all right? Nick Aldis, I forget who said it. I think it was B-Fab that told him, like, yeah, you guys are banned from ringside. You guys won't be allowed out there. So it was just going to be Chelsea Green, Alexa Bliss, and Michin. And that's the match that we got right after this commercial break, of course. And then, of course, we get into the match. Alexa Bliss, Michin versus Chelsea Green. This match was a snooze fest, was boring. Nobody gave a shit about this match. This was a rematch, all right? Don't let Triple H gaslight you into believing that this was not a rematch, okay? We have seen Chelsea Green and Michin 18 times since October of 2024. We have seen them so many times in the ring. They just decided to drop Alexa Bliss in there just to make this an easy match to get her into the qualifying for the Money in the Bank. And I won't let that shit slide. This was a fucking rematch, so I really couldn't get into it, especially considering that half of the match happened picture in picture with commercial. Like, come on, bro. This was hard to get into, but it's whatever. Alexa wins because duh, and then we move the fuck on. All right. Next up, we got a recap of the whole Fraxium and Street Profits match last week. Then DIY basically was saying that, you know, the speed is going to slow him down, or the speed kills, or some crazy shit like that. Whatever. So we're going to get Fraxium versus DIY. So last week we have Fraxium go over on the tag team champions, and then this week they're wrestling a meaningless match with DIY just so they can go ahead and still get a tag team match later on. All right, there were 2 commercials during this match, mind you. That's how fucking long this match was. This match was long as shit. All right, and let me say one other thing about this match. All right, this is one of those things that takes me completely out of the game when it comes to when I'm watching this. Like, when my suspension of disbelief is just completely cut in half, just severed when I see shit like this. When Nathan Frazier gets hit with what is called a Project Champa, which is basically like a dropping fucking code, like a backbreaker. It's like a really nasty looking move, all right? This could be a finisher. This could be somebody's fucking finisher right here, where he just drops a guy onto his knees and the guy just bounces off his knees. All right, Nathan Frazier got hit with that shit, and that shit looked like it hurt. That shit looked like a painful motherfucking move. That shit looked like a finisher. And then Nathan Frazier's little skinny ass kicks out of that. We go through a 20-minute match. Nathan Frazier is kicking out of all kinds of crazy shit. Everybody's kicking out of all kinds of crazy shit. And then the match ends in a roll-up. The match ends in a roll-up, all right? And then DIY immediately attack Fraxium after the match like we're supposed to give a damn. And then here comes the Motor City Machine Guns like we're supposed to give a shit. And they come out and they beat down DIY. Who cares? We move the fuck on, because what else are we supposed to do here? What does this do for me? What does this do for me? What does this do for anybody? Nobody's over after this. Not Fraxium. DIY is not more over. And still nobody cares about Motor City. So let's move the fuck on. All right, we got Andrade and Rey Fenix. They're backstage. All right, Rey Fenix talking about he's ready for the next level because he lost his match at WrestleMania, but he's still which is crazy that we're finally getting something on this, right? Like, Rey Fenix hasn't talked about this shit for 4 weeks, but now he's starting to bring up that he lost at WrestleMania, but whatever, okay? So he says that, he lost at WrestleMania, but he feels like he's ready for the next level, so he's going to win Money in the Bank, whatever. Andrade said he's probably going to be in that match too. Solo comes up to them, and Solo and Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb, or JC, nah, nigga, that's Jeff Cobb. He says that he's looking for LA Knight. He's asking where LA Knight is. They're like, no entiendo, no entiendo. They're like acting like they don't speak English and shit. So Solo walks off. Then we move on. Right after we get back from commercial, we get Street Profits backstage with Fraxium because, they just won their, excuse me, they just won their match with DIY. So Street Profits, they were basically saying that, hey, this is a very terrible segment. I don't care. But between between Fraxium and the Street Profits, they have no chemistry at all. And the Street Profits, they're just, I don't know what they were going for in this segment. I don't know if they were trying to act like they were crazy or what the situation was, but I just did not enjoy this at all. But basically what you need to know is they said that they were going to set up a match, not at Saturday Night Main Event, because why would you put your tag teams on even the most basic of PLEs? It's not necessarily a PLE, but that's technically what it is, all right? Why would you put them on even the most basic of PLEs? Put them on the Friday before, all right? So that's what they said. It's going to be next week on Smackdown. They're going to have a title match. Fraxium is getting a title match. Now, I don't know what Triple H is thinking, all right? He once again throwing some people out there and just shooting them right up to the top of the division. And then what? They win, they lose. What does this do for them? What does this do? We still don't know who they are. We still don't know who they are. All we know is they go fast in ring. But we're supposed to care about this match. We're supposed to care about the Street Profits. Let's just move the fuck on. This was some bullshit. Next up, we get R-Truth having a sit down with Wade Barrett. Now, here is my issue with this. You have Jonathan Cena in his last year. These are his last feuds. His last feuds. And this is the kind of effort that we're getting for John Cena's 17th title, his historic 17th world title. His reign is being reduced to being RKO'd and crossroaded 3 weeks in a row, respectively. And now his next feud is being built up with a sit down. Like, R-Truth doesn't even have a chance to really express himself through his comedic means because he's in a weird ass sit down interview with Wade fucking Barrett. This is the max of creativity. This is not UFC. All we see are fucking matches, interviews, and promos, man. It's like, fuck, bruh. Can we get something original? But whatever, R-Truth says that, he stands by everything that John Cena used to say. When you felt like you wanted to quit your job, John Cena said, never give up. John Cena is all about hustle, loyalty, respect. The guy that attitude adjusted Truth through a fucking table at a press conference, that wasn't the real John Cena. So R-Truth is going to be the guy that beats some sense into John Cena. And, that was that. We move on. They have a match like we all knew at Saturday Night Main Event. And we move the fuck on. Damian Priest gets a vignette where he's talking to Drew McIntyre, basically saying, y'all, we keep getting in each other's way, so let's settle this finally in a steel cage match. All right, that's what this vignette was. It was an okay vignette, but I don't care about this feud at all, and we move the fuck on. Next up, we get Alistar Black versus Melo.
Shit!
Alistar Black versus Carmelo Hayes again. So we have another rematch. And in this match, we get a promo right before the match. It was a decent promo from Melo. But he basically said in this promo that the beef isn't over until he wins. So we could have 8 matches in this feud. This could turn into another best of 7 if we're not careful, right? But that's not what ends up happening, all right? Alistar Black ends up winning by DQ after The Miz interferes in the match because I guess Carmelo Hayes was looking like he was about to lose. So The Miz interfered, beat him down, or attempted to beat Alistar Black down, but then The Miz got beat down, and then Carmelo Hayes, he was ended up on top of this brawl that occurred at the end of it, hits him with the Melo Dome Miz, and Carmelo Hayes stands tall. We don't care. Okay, we don't care.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
And we move on. So Alexa Bliss, she's backstage. She gets an interview from Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton asks her, how does it feel to be the first winner of the qualifying match for the Money in the Bank? And Alexa Bliss starts to say some shit, and then she stops the interview. She sees somebody down the hallway, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna get back to you on this. Of course, she never will, but she moves down the hallway. There goes Charlotte Flair. She's down there, and Charlotte Flair basically asks her, "Hey, what's going on between us, man?" And Alexa Bliss says, "Look, did you think about what we talked about?" Charlotte Flair's like, "Yeah, I thought about it, but we've never been close. We're not friends, things like that." And Alexa Bliss is like, "Yeah, but when I was down in NXT, like 10 years ago, when I was down in NXT, you were the one that, really brought me under your wing. You didn't have to do that, and I never forgot about that." Charlotte's like, "I don't even remember that." So I don't know where this is going. And then out from the office pops Julia from NXT. She is now a star on Smackdown. All right. So we got Julia on Smackdown. No story, no vignettes, no nothing. All right. She just moves over to SmackDown. What happened to draft day? You know what I mean? Like, so we're not doing draft day anymore. I haven't heard shit about the draft since the end of this WrestleMania season. Like, I haven't heard shit about a draft. So we're not doing the draft this year. We're just gonna ixnay that because of how shit it was last year. If that's the case, then I guess. But fuck, man. Like, let's some tradition. Like, can we keep some kind of tradition here? But whatever. Nick Aldis comes out right after Julia and basically says, "Welcome to SmackDown. You're the newest superstar, Julia. Charlotte, let's talk about the Money in the Bank." Then, as Charlotte's about to follow Nick into the office, Charlotte looks over to Alexa and says, "If you want to help, just stay out of my way. We have nothing between us." And that's that. I don't know where this is going. This whole thing does not interest me at all, and I'm going to be honest with you. All right, and we move on. Drew McIntyre, he goes ahead. Actually, before we get to Drew McIntyre, Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, they had a video package where they were basically rehashing and going over what their feud was, 6 months ago when they were in a feud. Remember that? Like, they just completely abandoned that for a little while, and now we're supposed to care about it again for some reason. But, it is what it is. That's what they tried to do here. Didn't work for me. Maybe it worked for you. So we move on. We get the Drew McIntyre promo. All right. Now, this Drew McIntyre promo was just sad to see. It was very sad to see, very sad to hear. All right. Drew McIntyre, he comes out. He complains a little bit more. All right. But this is the part of the promo that I really want to talk about. Because basically, he's talking about, how him and Damian Priest, they're in each other's way, right? This, that, and the other. And he accepts the match that Damian Priest laid out for the steel cage. Then he says this. He says, "When Drew McIntyre makes a guarantee, it happens." But before he says when Drew McIntyre makes a guarantee, it happens, he looks down. He chuckles, almost like he knows that what he's about to say is some bullshit, because it is. It absolutely is. Drew McIntyre has promised a lot of things. He has guaranteed a lot of things over the last 2 years since Triple H has really been in charge. And since then, Drew McIntyre has literally just been he went up the card, and he's just been on a downward trajectory ever since he lost the title at WrestleMania 40 last year to Damian Priest. Ever since then, all he's been doing is jobbing. All he does is job. All right. And it's really crazy to see because of how talented Drew McIntyre is, but he's being shafted into a mid-card feud with Damian Priest, of all people. It's just tragic. It's tragic to see. But yeah, that's the situation, man. So he says that he's gonna leave Damian Priest on a stretcher, and we move the fuck on. Next up, we have Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso versus Rey Fenix. Now, this was the only match on the card that I was actually surprised by. Genuinely. I was genuinely surprised, all right? But before we get into why I was surprised, let me ask a question. Why in the hell was the Secret Harvest banned from ringside in Chelsea Green's qualifying match, but the Temu Baby Bottle Bloodline, they don't get banned from ringside during this match? This did not make sense to me at all. All right. And that's one of those things that turned the tide in this match. All right. Jimmy cut a pretty decent promo before he got out to the ring. All right. Who's that? Big Jim. All right. At one point during this match, all right, the referee missed a count. There was like a spot where Jimmy Uso was like on the top rope with like Rey Fenix, and Solo Sikoa was coming to do something. Rey Fenix like jumped on his back and like flipped him over into like a pin, and the referee just completely missed the count. Like the referee was looking over at Jimmy, who had just jumped over them. It was a wild spot, whatever. But Jimmy was like over on the ground. The referee is looking over at Jimmy on the ground in the corner, and there's a whole pin happening right next to him, and he does not pay attention to that pin that's going on, and he completely misses it. And that was just really bad to look at. But like I said, that this match, it surprised me because Solo ended up winning, and he actually ended up winning by pinning Rey Fenix. He didn't even pin Jimmy. Because I thought it was either going to be Solo or Rey Fenix that won this match. All right. But I thought if Solo won, then it was going to be Jimmy that got pinned. And I also thought if Rey Fenix won, it was going to be Jimmy that got pinned ultimately. Right. But that neither of those things ended up happening. Solo won, and he won by pinning Rey Fenix. And once again, both of the Lucha Brothers, they are sliding down the card faster than shit runs down the toddler's leg. All right, like it is just bad at this point. All right, they have been signed to be relegated to being jobbers. That is where they are headed. Both of them, they will be in the tag team division before you know it. Fucking Penta's already speed champion. Their career is on the downward trajectory. All right. But that was what it was. LA Knight comes out of nowhere and once again attacks Jeff Cobb. He's up on the fucking announce table holding a chair, swinging that thing around, daring somebody to come to him. And then Nick Aldis pops out of the backstage like he does, and he basically says, all right, we do things differently around here. LA Knight, you have a problem with the new Smackdown talent, I think is what he said. I don't even think he said his name. I think he said the new Smackdown talent. Then what we're going to do is we're going to set up a match right here, right now. Oh, yeah, he said JC. All right, he said you have a problem with JC. All right, then we're going to set up a match right here, right now. JC's going to debut on SmackDown now. All right, and that's what happened. All right, now, when the match actually happened, Jeff Cobb was officially slated to be named JC Mateo. All right, this is a terrible, forgettable name. If you were going to change his name or change his last, you might as well just change his last name. Just call him Jeff Mateo. Like that sounds a little bit better than JC Mateo. That just sounds like a very generic, like it just sounds like a generic dude. And that's exactly what he is, a generic dude. All right, you got Jeff Cobb versus LA Knight. And the entire match, that the announcers are doing their damnedest to slob up and down this guy, Jeff Cobb. They are slobbing him all up and down. No diddy. Okay, like, oh, he has so much core strength, and he's so well built, and he has like he's 260 pounds. This motherfucker is not 260 pounds. Okay, he's 205 at most. Okay, and he's standing in the ring with LA Knight, who's cut from fucking marble, looking like a damn Greek god. All right, literally the way, this match makes no sense conceptually. Okay, we're looking at Jeffrey Cobb. All right, and Jeff Cobb is built so bad. All right, he has little legs and a very big torso. All right, he's very top heavy. Okay, like this motherfucker, he does not look like a star at all. He does not look like a wrestler at all. This motherfucker looks like he's here to fix the plumbing. Okay, that's what he looks like. And it was not easy to actually take this match seriously. So I did not take it seriously at all. Not to mention that he is not impressive in the ring at all. The one thing that he did that looked, I guess you could say, kind of impressive was the moonsault, the standing moonsault that he did on LA Knight. Like, that was kind of impressive. His finisher is called the Tour of Islands. I guess that's a cool enough finisher. It's basically just a spinning scoop slam. But I mean, it's a slam, so whatever. But I don't know, man. This Jeff Cobb situation, we got to have a meeting about this, Triple H. We got to talk about this, because this is not going to work for me. I'm not going to be able to take a serious look at Jeff Cobb on my screen, man. And I have one question about this fucking match, okay? Because LA Knight jobs out to JC Mateo, and I have one question.
Why?
Why is LA Knight still feuding with the Samoans? Why is LA Knight jobbing out to the Samoan? LA Knight jobbed out to Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. Jobbed out to Jacob Fatu at Backlash. And now he's jobbing out on a Friday night Smackdown to Jeff Cobb? What does Triple H have against my boy L.A. Knight? Yeah, what does he have against him? He knows that L.A. Knight is a star, man. Why are we L.A. Knight eating a pin to Jeff Cobb, bro? What is going on? Why is this happening, man? Why is Triple H burying or attempting to bury LA Knight? Just like he did last year. But that didn't work. That didn't work last year. And now he's trying to get it to work this year. He's like, all right, well, hopefully the steam is cooled off on LA Knight enough to where I can just bury him and just send him down the card. What in the I'm going to get upset, so we're going to move on. All right, LA Knight does the job for JC Mateo. And we move on. All right, so Legado del Fantasma, they get a little recap of their situation last week. And Santos actually cut a pretty decent promo here. I won't sit here and lie to you. It was all right. But basically what he's talking about, to Angel, because there is no Berto, because last week, like we saw, Santos slapped the shit out of Berto, or Berto slapped the shit out of Santos. I don't remember. One of them slapped the shit out of each other, and then moved on. All right, they I think it was Berto that slapped Santos, and then he left. And then this week he's not there. They say they were looking for him. Angel said he wasn't at his house. Santos says they have to come back together. All right, this is all about loyalty. They have like an opportunity down the line that's going to be very good for the family. And I'm like, what fucking opportunity is that? All y'all motherfuckers do is lose, man. That's all y'all do. And I'm supposed to sit here and act like I care. Well, I don't. Okay, that's the problem here. All right, so we move on. Next up, we get Shinsuke Nakamura. He cuts a little video package on LA Knight and Malachi Black, because they'll be in a qualifying match next week for Money in the Bank. LA Knight better win. That's all the fuck I have to say about this, okay? LA Knight better win this match. There is no excuse for LA Knight to lose this fucking match. Even though this match is a rematch in disguise, I'm going to let it slide if LA Knight wins, all right? And we move on, okay? Tiffany Stratton runs into Jade Cargill backstage. Jade says she's going to win the briefcase. She's going to win her qualifying match. She's going to win the briefcase. She's going to win the title the same way that Tiffany did, and calls Tiffany a backstabber. And then Tiffany says she's never going to be good enough to cash in on her.
I'll tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
We don't care. We don't care. Okay, we don't fucking care. Let's move on. All right, we got Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton in a And another rematch on the night. Okay, we have another rematch on the night. All right, I could not give a shit about this match. All right, basically the way that it ends was Naomi came out. She tried to come in and interrupt the match with a steel chair. All right, at some point, and Jade Cargill came out before Naomi was able to really get it and do anything. Naomi left the chair in the middle of the ring, basically, and the ref didn't do anything about it, just left the chair there. All right, Nia Jax then kicks out of a prettiest moonsault ever. Okay, then after Tiffany gets hit with an annihilator, Tiffany grabs the ropes before the 3 count. So, rope break, and then Nia Jax, she acts like she's getting ready to leave. She grabs the championship, grabs it, and she begins to walk out. Then she decides against walking out and grabs the steel chair. Why she grabs the steel chair, I don't know, but she grabs the steel chair and she's going towards Tiffany, I guess. I don't know what the fuck she planned on doing here. She was going to lose regardless, but Tiffany, she drop kicks the steel chair into her face. Then Tiffany hits the prettiest moonsault ever again, and then Nia Jax won. Then Tiffany Stratton won the match, all right? 1, 2, 3. Show goes off the air with Tiffany Stratton holding up her title. This show was a drag, man. This show was a fucking drag. There was a whole lot in the show that I didn't like. That's one thing. And then the show was just not entertaining objectively. This show was just not entertaining. 30-minute matches with ending in roll-ups, fucking rematch after rematch, like Jimmy and Solo Sikoa. That's a rematch, but we're just throwing Rey Fenix in there so that way it can it can slide. So it's not necessary. It's not really a rematch because Rey Fenix is in there. You know what I mean? Chelsea Green and Mi Chen, another rematch. But we're throwing, we're gonna throw Alexa Bliss in there, and it's not technically a rematch. Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, a fucking rematch. All right, this show had no heart, no soul, no nothing to it, nothing. What was the beginning, middle, and end of this show? This show was ass. And then to top it off, the cherry on top, you got LA Knight jobbing out to Jeff Cobb. I hated everything about this show. I hated everything about this show. I'm giving this show a 0 out of 10. I'm giving it a 0 out of fucking 10, all right? This was one of the worst shows that I've ever seen in my life. Let me know what y'all thought about this show down in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you want to listen to another video. This has been your boy, Nate the Great, back with another one, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.